Mr Deputy Speaker, there is so much wrong with the UK immigration system that needs fixed. But this immigration will not fix anything. In fact, it will make things very much worse.
I object to this bill and I won't be voting for it. Not only because I happen to believe in the free movement of people, and I've yet to hear a single argument advanced by anybody as to why the free movement of people has been anything other than good for this country.
So it's right, if we're to subject 3 million EU citizens to our immigration system, that we should at this point ask ourselves whether we've learnt the lessons from the Windrush cases and that we do not repeat those injustices on EU citizens. We don't want the new level playing field to be a detention centre.
Because we've seen the settled status scheme rolled out just this month, and with it has come this grotesque sight of families who have built their lives in the UK being forced to register just to carry on their lives as normal. And every glitch, as the Honourable Member for Leeds North West has just stated, every glitch in the technology, every moment that the computer says no, will have a devastating effect on people who should feel welcome here. And that leads us to estimate, the research estimates, that 1 in 10 EU citizens could fall between the gaps and never be registered at all.
We still do not know anything about what will happen to those who fail to apply for settled status in time. Why is it the case that there is to be such a severe cut-off date? It is inevitable that hundreds of thousands will not apply in time.
This may be one of the flimsiest pieces of legislation on a major issue that I and many others have ever seen. Worse than that, it is supplemented by a whole slew of Henry VIII powers that the government and the Secretary of State intend to grant themselves. We will be opposing the assumption of these sweeping powers without tying them to specific policies. We will not be offering any blank cheque which the government can redeem at any time it is in trouble or tempted to whip up anti-migrant sentiment as a distraction.
It sticks slightly in the craw of a person who grew up in Birmingham to listen to people who don't live amongst migrants, who don't live in diverse places, talking about how difficult it is for communities who have to live in places of high migration. Well, it is not difficult. It is not difficult at all. It is a total pleasure.
My constituents in Bristol West often write to me about migration. They never tell me to help refugees or Windrush victims or EU citizens less. They tell me to fight harder, and I always will. But they also do not feel the system is working. They campaign to stop indefinite detention of migrants. They campaign to keep all EU citizens, not just here, but here and welcomed. And they are also losing trust in our system. So nobody is satisfied, except the far right.